Yo, what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty great.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And we're about to get normal with OPP. And if you want to know what that stands for, it's not OPP, the song. It's Orange Push Pop, grown by our friend Big Earl. And this is a 70-30 indica sativa. Orange Push Pop is an indica-dominant hybrid strain created through crossing the classic Triangle Kush and Orange Cookie strains, named after the classic childhood candy favorite. Orange Push Pop packs a delicious flavor and lifted effects that will help both mind and body relax. Like its name, Orange Push Pop has a sweet and citrusy, creamy vanilla flavor with a light hint of lemon, lime upon exhale. The aroma is very similar, with sour lemon-lime overtone extended by sweet, citrusy, orangey, and creamy vanilla. The Orange Push Pop high isn't quite as bright, with soothing effects that will help you settle down and kick back rather than invigorate you. You feel lifted with a happy sense of calm that settles any negative or racing thoughts. A relaxing body high comes next, coming as a soft tingly before turning into a fully fledged body buzz. Thanks to these effects and its 20 to 21% average THC level, Orange Push Pop is often chosen to treat those suffering from conditions such as chronic stress, anxiety, chronic pain, cramps, muscle spasms, and chronic fatigue. This bud has oversized, long, spade-shaped forest green nugs, not these nugs, I'll tell you in a second, and dark olive leaves, amber undertones, thin orange hairs, and a coating of frosty purple-tinted white crystal trichomes. Relieves symptoms of anxiety, chronic pain, cramps, fatigue, muscle spasms, and stress. Effects are body high, calming, happy, relaxing, tingly, and uplifting. Flavors are citrus, creamy, orange, sour, and sweet. Aromas are citrus, lemon, lime, orange, sour, vanilla. And that is Orange Push Pop, grown by our friend Big Earl. And we've smoked Orange Push Pop before by our friends Ralph Wiley. And Big Earl grew this. And this when he pulled this out for me on Sunday, holy schmoly, purpley nerpley. Mm-hmm. Every bud, purpley nerpley. And Mr. Weedman got a new toy. Mm-hmm. He got a microscope with a big 7-inch screen. And we would put that bud underneath there, and you saw the inner workings of purple hairs, purple just loveliness.
The leaves.
Everything.
It was just beautiful.
Yeah, so very different from the one we got from Ralph Wiley, which that description that I read to the T, Big Earl said, it grew purple. It didn't do much different, but it grew purple. So this is our first time smoking it, and I'm super stoked to smoke this Orange Push Pop, OPP. And thanks, Big Girl, for throwing to the cause. We always appreciate you, brother. What'd you think, Mrs. Weedman?
Well, you know, I have terrible taste buds, so I'm not a good reviewer of flavor, but it smokes nicely. I'm interested in seeing how we feel.
The effects, the tingliness, and the body buzz. We had a fun Saturday.
We did.
We had a fun weekend, but Saturday, of course. We talked about it in the last episode. But before we tell you where we're at, we want to apologize to everybody out there because Mr. and Mrs. Weedman messed up. We told everybody it was at Mars Brewing, at their brewery on Iron Street. It actually wasn't. You know how we found out? Mr. and Mrs. Weedman drove there and walked in, and
it was not a cannabis party.
It was not a cannabis party.
There were little kids running around.
Yes.
There were families.
There was a baby shower.
Yeah, there was a baby shower.
And Mr. Weedman comes walking in with his cooler filled with all of his different strains. I came in with my my briefcase that I have all my stuff in it, rolled joints in, and I was in my Weedman gear. And you came in, and there was this guy sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden turns to me, Southside, typical Southside D's, Dems, and Don'ts guys, right? Yo, this guy looks like he's here for business. And I just looked at him and gave him a wink and a smile. I was like, meanwhile, I knew I wasn't at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we did like one lap, and we're like, we're in the wrong place.
I was looking for the owner, Ed, who owns Mars, Maria's, Kimski's, and Mars, what is it called? Mars Community Room. And that's where we were supposed to be. And that was over by Margie's, way up on the north side, by Margie's Ice Cream. If you're from Chicago, if you know Margie's, that's where it was at. Margie's Ice Cream. I don't have the address, but all of a sudden we're walking around, and Mrs. Weedman goes, I don't think we're in the right place. And I said, you're damn right we're not. I said, let me look at the invitation again. And I'm like, oh no. It's up on by Margie's over by their new community room. And I was like, oh, what a goose.
It's called the Life on Mars Community Club in Logan Square.
Oh, such a bummer, you know?
Yeah, but we made it.
We made
and
it.
we were only like 30 minutes later than we expected to be there. And
yeah, and it was a very nice event. I'd like to thank Ed for inviting us, and we got to set up a table and roll joints for people, and everybody got to experience the new toy Mr. Weedman got, because I brought the microscope out and with the screen and had a bud underneath there where we were serving Funkle, which was grown by Big Earl, and people got to really see the inner workings of a bud. All the beautiful trichomes, all the hairs, all the different colorations of what a bud gives you when you're looking at a microscope. And it was a lot of fun watching people have that experience. But we had a great time. We got to meet a lot of new people. We got to see a lot of people we've known in the industry for a while. And we got to hear a lot of awesome stories. I saw some bud tenders I knew. I saw some managers of dispensaries I knew. I saw some people in the industry I knew. Some people I never met before.
There were a lot of people we didn't know.
Yeah,
it was a really, but that are actually busy and cranking into the cannabis space here in Chicago. But that's just how big the space is. That's how big the community is. That we're years into it, and people are still crossing paths for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. So, got to hear one story from a gentleman I know that works at a dispensary in Bolingbrook. Shout out. And he told me what his future plans were. And I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to tell anybody about it because it's his dream, his idea, and his story that he wants to do. But I'm proud of him because he listens to the show. Mm-hmm. And I want to say thank you for the kind words you gave, and hopefully you enjoyed the doink we gave you. And then you met somebody too that has big plans, right?
Big plans. Chef, TV show, wants to essentially start like a cannabis community, like a travel experience community. Seed to table kind of stay overnight thing. And I'm not giving away too much because I've heard other people that want to do similar things,
right?
And so, they're really, and then someone else that was in like accounting forensics or something like that, or right, and in the cannabis space. Yeah.
And we met some people, some salespeople.
Yeah.
Some people that
cultivation people.
Different, cultivation, sales, brand ambassadors. Also, shout out to the Days Off folks for being there. Mm-hmm. Always serving those folks that are days off. Yeah. Always making sure people are fully medicated when they come when they are at an event. So shout out to the Days Off folks. Thank you for always serving, being servants of the community and of the industry. I love it. And it was just great hearing a lot of stories, meeting some sales folks too, and just talking to them about the streets. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to one person and what was her name? Unique. Mm-hmm. And she's a sales rep, and we were talking. I said, well, I'm a street rat. And I totally shocked her. She's like, what do you mean by a street rat? I said, well, I can basically tell you what kind of salesperson you are by your Chinese animal from the year, like I'm 1972, I'm a rat. Right? 1970, we're rats. That's in the Chinese
It's the year of the snake right now.
Yes, but we're the year of the rat.
I know.
And so I can tell you what kind of salesperson you are by what animal you are in the Chinese New Year. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me and said, she goes, why you? Well, I could tell you, rats are cunning. They plan their route and route their plan. They can go at it alone or they can go at it as a team. They know how to get in and out of any situation, and they know how to close a deal because they always survive. Mm-hmm. There's a street rat for you. There's my sales tactics.
So and you can always find a slice of pizza.
Always find a slice. So I shocked her, and it was just funny. I'm like, yeah, I call myself a street rat. I'm a salesperson. I'm a street rat. I'm actually a relationship builder / street rat. And it was funny. And then she goes, I saw a dead rat in the street the other day.
I saw it get run over by a car.
I was like,
really? Was it bad? Was it messy?
Some of the best of us.
She's like, no, it was just, he was there, then he wasn't. Gross.
Like, that's funny. So, yeah, great time. Thank Ed and all the staff over at Mars. We appreciate you. Appreciate us letting us come and do our thing, what we do best. That's rolling doinks for people and help making community better and stuff like that. And we threw a little his poster over there from it's going to be the Herbert magazine, right?
Yep. So they're starting a, I believe, print and online magazine, because I know their other publication was print. But anyway, however it's formatted, I don't know all those technicalities, but it's going to be articles about people and what they do in life and how cannabis is part of their life.
Yep.
So integrating like culture, life, wellness, and cannabis kind of all together. And I'm sure a lot of art.
Yes.
So
they're really big into art.
Yeah, art, music. Yeah.
If you haven't been to any one of their locations, if you are coming into Chicago or you're around the Chicagoland area or you're just an out-of-towner looking for great bars, they've won. Maria's has won like best dive bar in the nation, like top 10 for years when they were, and it's a fun spot. That was my first time at the Mars Community Room, right? That was my first time there. Great little spot. They had a little snacks, and then they had, coffee, beer, their own beer, of course, Mars Brewing Company, and then they have Mars Brewing, which is the one on Iron Street, which is a fun time we talked about in the last episode. And then also they do a lot with the art community too. I think they still have a studio and stuff like that too, and a little like art gallery and stuff that they do some things at too from time to time. So just phenomenal pillars in the Bridgeport community and North Side and stuff like that. And I just appreciate them having us out. And thanks, fam over there. I really appreciate you, Ed.
So their magazine, Herbert, is a guide to cannabis culture, art, music, literature, and science. So
Sweet.
Inaugural issue is January of 2025. So we should see it very soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Super
Hell yeah.
excited.
I'm excited for that. They do a good job with their stuff. So congrats. Thanks for having us. So we finished American Primeval.
Yeah.
I
couldn't believe that it wrapped itself up.
How it wrapped up that last episode is still beyond me, but they did it and it was phenomenal.
And it was enough.
Yes, it was perfect. I don't need to watch any more of it. You were like, okay, I don't know if I can watch this all the time. It's got some blood.
Pretty explicit.
For the times too. I think they captured it.
Well, that's probably how it really was.
Right. So
but it was pretty graphic.
Yes, it was. So be wary.
Yeah. Kind of Dexter kind of stuff. A lot of sound effects that were just okay.
It
stop.
made you into
so
the
like
show.
You cover your eyes and you're still hearing that. Like, oh my god.
It was good. I don't know what we're gonna watch next. I think we might watch what's that show on Apple that Paulie was telling us about? It begins with an S.
Severance.
I think we're gonna watch that next. That'd be fun. We should definitely throw that on. So, and then we had a fun experience Saturday night when we got home from the little shindig at Mars Community Room. Mrs. Weedman and I, for Mrs. Weedman's second time, but actually really experiencing the full blow of how to experience mushrooms. We ate mushrooms on Saturday night and smoked a lot of weed. But we ate mushrooms. We went full blown. Mrs. Weedman and I've done mushrooms multiple times, but I've gone to really never microdose. Back when I did mushrooms, it was more of just to see the psychedelics and see the visuals. That's what I like about mushrooms. And I like being in that state of seeing things move and music gets brighter and music gets louder and bright lights get crisper. And I like that level. The first time we did it, we only took 1.5 grams and we felt nice, right? We were awake, having fun. This time we decided to go full blown. And I did almost 3 grams and you did 2.5 grams. And it was a fun ride. We were up for a very long time. And we started, I think we took them around 9:30 and we didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. And all we did, I wanted Mrs. Weedman's experience for her first time, especially the trippy experience, to be in a safe place, not be out unless we were like on a beach, but we didn't have that. It's wintertime here in Chicago, so we're not going to no beach or no forest. It's cold. So we decided to make the mood in the studio. We had lights on. We had music, just really good trance, drum and bass.
Pretty amazing.
Oh man, for oh god. And then I asked Mrs. Weedman, what did you want to watch? And she goes, let's watch monkeys. So we put on National Geographic show about monkeys. And we were laughing our asses off, and then all of a sudden I felt that it kicked in. I was looking at a picture on our wall, and I was like, "Oh, it's coming." And you're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, it's here. And this stuff started just melting and reforming and melting and moving.
And I was
like,
getting jealous. I'm like, but I'm not seeing anything. That's what I really wanted. I just wanted to experience the visuals.
But 30 minutes later,
yes,
it happened. And what it's my favorite part, but you tell a little bit of your experience since it was your first time.
Yeah.
For anybody that's wanted to try mushrooms, psilocybin out there, this was Mrs. Weedman's first time trippy dibby.
Yeah. And we did consume quite a bit of I had consumed cannabis throughout the day. We were at that event. We came home, we smoked, and then we took the edibles, and I had like set blankets out on the floor, and we had the TV going and the music and
candles and incense going too.
And so I just wanted to like lay down and just relax and let it kind of set in and kind of feel. I didn't know if I had some wonder if I would get like motion sickness because I've had vertigo before. I get dizzy very easily. I have really low blood pressure. So I was like, I don't know. So let me just like get my legs. Let me see how this makes me. I didn't know if I was going to feel real heady. I was pleasantly surprised that you stay very clear-minded. I liked that. And I wasn't in like the visual state where everything was just automatically visual. I had to like look at something and stop and really look at it. And then it would start moving. It was kind of the wavy thing was happening. And then like the kind of pulsating, like the breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I had anything horizontally. I think everything was more like linear up and down vertical. I liked it. But then as I was laying there, I'm like, part of me was like, I don't know if I can get up. Like I can get up, but I don't even know what it would feel like to get up. So I think I'm just going to lay here. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? It feels really nice just laying here. I don't just lay around. I just don't. I don't lay around. And I'm just going to lay here. This is kind of nice. And I was literally like a dead body. I was like laying like sloppy and flat with the blanket on top of me and a pillow behind my head. And I was just like, this is great. I don't think I've ever felt like this level of relaxation in my body while I'm awake. But at the same time, I felt a lot of energy.
Right.
Like you were dancing around and you were
the music was good
around,
at one point.
and he was so worried about me. Okay, what can I get you? You need anything?
It was your first time.
I know.
It was your first time, and I wanted it to be a pleasant experience for you. So I know what it's like. I've done it, like I said, so many times. So to me, it was like I was excited about you having a good experience.
Right.
I knew I was going to have a good experience.
It was very kind of you, but I felt bad. Like at some point, I was just like, would you just sit down and enjoy the ride?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because there was times where there was a moment where I was peaking. That we ate that other half, and we took 2 grams to start, and then I took another half, and I took another half, and then you just took another half, and all of a sudden, I was peaking. I remember laying halfway on your legs, and just like my body melted into the blankets,
And like you were just mush.
and there was a song going that we started off with Zed's Dead, and then that playlist went into like
Who knows?
multiple playlists, and it actually was kind of funny because the music was we put on
somehow that was my thing. I was stuck on them. Like I just could not.
So we were playing. We started
register
playing
with my brain.
Outer Space. I played National Geographic,
Outer Space.
Outer Space, like all like about the stars and universes and stuff. So, and the music wind up correlating. And I had
insane.
YouTube on for the show, but I had Spotify on my speakers for the music, and the music started correlating with the TV
bizarre.
show, and for like 45 minutes you kept on asking me, you're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm 100% sure. The music, it's too.
I'm like, you're really playing.
And I actually showed you twice because I had to change something on the TV for it. And I'm like, look here, 2 different things, and you're like, no. I'm like, I'm
like,
telling you, how is this happening?
This,
I mean, literally, the music was to the T.
It was just like so.
For like an hour and 45 minutes.
The animals would be still, and the music was calm. The animals would move around. The music picked up. A planet came like shooting onto the screen, and the music like accelerated in speed. I'm like, what is even happening? How is this possible? I had to just keep. I'm like, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It was good. It was that moment though of laying on you when I was melting in the blankets, and I was just like, holy shit! I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't want to I don't want to get up, just like you. I didn't want to get up. And then I
had a little nausea almost
I did too.
the whole
That
time.
happens with mushrooms.
Yeah. That was, I think that kind of kept me like, well, I'm just really comfortable laying here. So I'll just, I was like, I'm just going to continue laying here. I got up at some point. I went to get a snack. I went to the bathroom, and my legs were just fine. They worked.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, and it was. I'm so glad you had such a fun experience during the whole thing. We went to bed pretty late though. Next time I think we start a little earlier and go to bed a little earlier. But we were up to like 3, and then I laid in bed.
I felt like wide awake.
Yeah, I laid in bed for about another hour, and then we woke up the next day because we didn't get our normal sleep pattern. We were groggy as fuck the next day. I didn't really. I smoked some weed and it made me feel a little bit better, but I was groggy for a good like 3 or 4 hours.
And I, unfortunately, my health condition can have what are referred to as flares. And I don't know what part of the unit. It might have been a drink I drank. It may have been food. A side effect of my condition or a symptom of my condition is that anything at any point in my life can cause anaphylaxis. And along with anaphylaxis are all of these other like onset symptoms that come with that. And so thankfully, I don't get to that point of anaphylaxis, but I get like severe headache. I get this kind of overall like aching feeling like I'm like suddenly have the flu. I feel slightly feverish. I'm like sweating, like all these things. And so I woke up feeling that way on Sunday and then thought, maybe I'm just getting sick. And I was like, duh. My medicine has been working, so it kind of like disregistered from my brain that that's a repetitive thing that would always happen. And I was like, oh yeah, this is another flare, and yeah, whatever. So I ended up with like a 2-day, essentially like a migraine, and really bad body aches and things. So that was weird. That's just my own, possible reaction to it. So maybe I'm a little fearful of trying it again. I really enjoyed the experience, and I don't want to scare anybody off from trying it if they're looking for it, because my condition is extremely rare.
You could be allergic to that mushroom.
Right. I could be allergic to the mushroom. Who knows? It could have been something I ate, my cheeseburger, because anything can cause this. It can be something I eat every day for my entire life. All of a sudden, I have a severe allergic reaction to, or something I try for the first time. Right. So who knows? So my point is that's a bit of information you didn't need to know, but it's part of why I maybe wouldn't do it again. But I did really enjoy it. Nice. Yeah.
We might have to try it one more time.
That was a long story.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
That's okay. You're stoned. The OPP.
OPP.
Orange push pop.
My body feels like a sloth right now.
It said body buzz.
Wow.
I was letting you go because I know I'm going to have to go into the show.
Done a little.
No, I was good because all of a sudden it hit. I was like, I'm glad Mrs.
like
Weedman's
a big
going
loop around.
I'm going. Mrs. Weedman's going around the block 2 or 3 times.
Sorry, people. Sorry. It does happen.
No, but it was fun. I enjoy mushrooms. I don't do them all the time. People are like, you don't like it? I'm like, no, I don't need to. It's not my thing. I like weed, and I like doing mushrooms like that. I like to trip. I like to see the visuals. I like the deep feeling of what psilocybin gives you. So that's just my experience. I know people that love mushrooms helps them every day. Take 1 gram every day. They microdose every day, and it helps them get through the day, helps their brain function. Like you said, it helped you think clear the whole time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that's why people do it. It's just not I like to do it like give me 3 grams and let me fly.
What did the package say? Party?
Yeah.
If you ate that much, it's a party.
It's a party, and we were partying.
Automatic party.
Yeah, it was great. Did you notice a difference though? When I love smoking weed on mushrooms because it accentuates it more. It brings up the high again with the mushrooms, but it also kind of helped your nausea a little bit when we smoked. It helped my nausea a little bit too, so kind of calm my stomach down a little bit. But I've thrown up on mushrooms before, so like a few times, handful of times, and that's just eating too much. But 3 grams is my sweet spot. Is
that all that happens if you have too much? You just puke?
Yeah, I've only thrown up. I've never passed out. Never fucking.
Does it make the experience? Whoa, really, really intense?
It brings it up there for a minute.
Like where you don't have to stop to look at something. Everything is just kind of
pretty
drippy.
Much.
I wouldn't mind that. I think now
it intensifies it more when you throw up. That's what people like. I always love throwing up when I'm on mushrooms. It intensifies it more. I'm like, ugh, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. So, but it was a good experience. If you ever want to try it, I suggest you do it with somebody that has experience. Don't do it by yourself. 3 rules, Mr. Weedman will tell you. That was taught to me. 3 rules when you're on psychedelics, people. You ready? 3 rules. Number 1, never look in a mirror.
Yeah, you were real funny about that.
Never look in a mirror when
Don't
you're
look,
tripping.
don't look.
Don't look in a mirror. That's just my number one rule. Right? Number 2. I forgot my number 2 rule.
Yeah. Hydrate.
No, that's now. Number 2, always remember you're on something. You're on a mind-altering experience. Okay? Remember
the chemical,
that.
not...
It's the chemical. It's not... You can get in your head on mushrooms. You can get in your head on LSD. You can get in your head on Molly, on ecstasy. You get in your own head sometimes. Just always remember you're on something mind-altering that can take you away for a minute. Snap yourself out of it. Get yourself focused again. Someone told me that. It's only the experience. Remember that. You'll be done when you're done. Okay? So get out of your own head. And 3, I don't recommend anybody doing this. Okay? This is someone taught me this. If you ever get stuck and you're driving and you were on psychedelics, always look at the white line in front of you, about 10 yards in front of you, like the white lines, the white line.
Yeah, but
road
everything's
lines.
wavy.
No, it's not. You're focusing on the white line, so you stay right in the middle of the road.
Okay, let's not go there.
Just saying.
I think maybe get an Uber. Nowadays, get an Uber.
I didn't have an Uber. I'm
Yeah.
just saying now you can get an Uber. Back this was taught to me early 90s.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea.
Yes, it is a bad idea, but
forget it.
it is. But I'm just saying, if you're ever stuck, and I'm just telling you, this is not. I'm not giving you the best advice on the last one.
It's terrible advice. All right, let's move on.
Okay, so 3 things.
Not that third one. Call an Uber.
There you go. Call an Uber on the third one now. Just call an Uber.
Call an Uber. That's it.
We'll move it on. You ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Cannabinoids offer new hope for safe and effective pain relief. Chemicals found in cannabis show promise for treating chronic pain, a new Yale study shows, and may present an alternative to opioids. Chronic pain is a global health challenge with current treatment options often limited by side effects, addiction risk, and diminished effectiveness over time. In a new study, Yale researchers identify alternative compounds with therapeutic potential, chemicals found in cannabis that lack the mind-altering effects associated with the drug. The chemicals CBD, CBG, and CBN, which belong to the group of molecules known as cannabinoids, reduce the activity of protein that is central to the pain signaling in the peripheral nervous system, the study showed. The findings published January 21st in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science offers promising new approach for safe and effective pain relief, said researchers. These findings open new avenues for development of cannabinoid-based therapies, said Mohammed Reza Joel Valalu, lead author of the study and associates research scientist in the Department of Neurology at Yale School of Medicine. Our research showed that CBG in particular has the strongest potential to provide effective pain relief without the risk associated with traditional treatments. Those risks should include addiction, which is associated with opioids, one class of prescribed for severe pain. The United States continues to be affected by the opioid epidemic. More than 80,000 people have died annually from opioid overdoses in recent years. How many have died from cannabis? None. 0. Goose egg. Cannabinoids may also yield more effective pain management than the other opioid alternatives, they added. The cannabinoids highlighted in the study interact with proteins found in the cell membrane of sensory neurons in the spine. The protein called NaV1.8 enables repetitive firing of those neurons, which is the key process in transmitting pain signals. Blocking NaV1.8 and thereby mutating its activity has shown promise in reducing pain in recent clinical studies. In the new study, the researchers measured that electrical current in rodent sensory neurons and how the current changed when CBD, CBG, and CBN were introduced. Each of the 3 cannabinoids reduced the cell's electrical current amplitudes associated with the NaV1.8. Of the 3, CBG inhibited the NaV1.8 action most strongly. These findings indicate that there's 3 cannabinoids, and CBG in particular, can prevent sensory neurons in the body from sending pain signals to the brain. The researchers are optimistic that these 3 compounds could provide safer alternative for pain management and reduce reliance on opioids. The research builds on the growing interest in therapeutic potential of cannabinoids, highlighting the role in addressing chronic pain conditions such as neuropathic pain, arthritis, and inflammatory disorders, said Dr. Stephen G. Waxman, senior author of the study, the Bridget M. Flaherty Professor of Neurology at Yale School of Medicine. By focusing on the NaV1.8 as a therapeutic target, the study paves the way for the development of innovative cannabinoid-based pain treatment. I love all 3 of those cannabinoids, by the way. I take them a lot. We take CBN for nighttime. We take CBG throughout the day. And we take, Mrs. Weedman takes CBD a lot. And you can find companies that make now, like, the trifecta of just those 3 cannabinoids in tinctures and in edibles without THC in it too. They're hemp derived, of course, but you can find them out there. And I suggest you try them. There's no psychoactive effect. I would suggest take a lighter dose of the CBN because you can get with CBD too. If you take way too much, then your body will allow you. Get a little heady. Just remember, start low, go slow, learn what your body wants. But those 3 cannabinoids are absolutely fucking phenomenal. And I suggest that you find them. If you don't want the THC aspect of it, go for them. But if you like it with THC, they do the quad. There's some companies do the quad or the trifecta where they add those 3. So have fun, experiment, feel what your body wants. Standardized bong rips. Is there such a thing?
I don't know.
Joints and dabs too?
Yeah, we'll see.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, the concept of medical cannabis makes some skeptics scoff. It is wild for some to believe that a puff from a joint or bong rip could be medicine. Part of the skepticism has roots. Medical doctors have no current guidance on how a patient would dose out a pipe hit, but that may change with some recently published research. A University of British Columbia research team paper seeks to standardize medical cannabis dosing across consumption methods. Medical doctors prescribe medications based on these science-based recommendations. Previously, there was no such recommendations for weed. Standard dosing is a recommended amount of a prescription based on a patient's weight to achieve the clinically desired effects. These doses are set based on 4 phases of clinical research facilitated by the federal government. University of British Columbia funded the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada. UBC, funded by the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, sought to change this in their recently published paper. The team addressed dosage through the lens of another nuanced weed topic, tolerance. They specifically targeted what a low dose would equate to. This study separated low, medium, and high dose needs across 7 methods, dissecting the ideal amount for low dose consumers. Over 1,300 people aged 18 to 93 participated in the survey, and 42% were women. This data set the index of cannabis equivalence, or ICE, and announced the low-dose comparisons across all 7 consumption methods. Index of cannabis equivalent asserts that equal doses are, so get this is according to this new categorization, the Index of Cannabis Equivalence, or ICE. They say 2 puffs of a joint, a pipe, or a vape pen, so 2 puffs from any of those, not all of them, are the equivalent. They're equal to each other. They're also equal to 1 bong rip, a 5 milligram edible, and a 1/4 gram dab.
I laugh about the bong rip because I've seen people take some fucking and same thing with dab rips too. But it says a 1/4 gram dab. So
at least that's measured. But one bong rip. What if the bowl is like
really doesn't have to do with the bowl. It has to do with the big part of the bong part,
right? And how much weed is in the bowl?
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So maybe they're talking about like a 2 puff bong rip, like a little itty bitty guy in the bowl.
The standardization of units is a start, but it has limitations. Here we go. There is no mention of product quality. That's a big one. Cannabinoid formulations, right? Or percentages. No talk of bowl size or the amount of cannabis packed into a joint, pipe, or bong. None of that is specified. This oversight creates sizable doubt, as these factors can drastically alter product efficacy. Not all weed products are created equal, which must also be considered in dose standards. While limited, this marks a start for medical practitioners looking to prescribe weed. Like all studies, it's a stepping stone toward greater understanding. As with most cannabis research, there's more work to be done. But yeah, I think that's great. They're starting.
They are. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How much stronger is THCP than THC? We've talked about THCP a few times on this show, not much, but it was just discovered in 2019. So, I mean, by an Italian researcher.
Hey.
But let's talk about it, because I have some people always asking about different cannabinoids and stuff. So as cannabis research continues to evolve, scientists have discovered new cannabinoids that change the way we think about the plant's effects. One of the most exciting discoveries is THCP, tetrahydrocannabinol, a cannabinoid that has been found to be significantly stronger than THC. For cannabis enthusiasts and researchers alike, this raises the question about just how potent THCP is compared to the well-known counterpart THC. What is THCP? It is a recently discovered cannabinoid that shares a similar structure to THC, the most famous psychoactive compound in cannabis. However, the critical difference lies in the molecular structure, which what it makes is much more potent. THCP was discovered by an Italian researcher in 2019 while studying a particular strain of cannabis. What makes it stand out is the length of the alkali chain, features that affects how it interacts with the body's cannabinoid receptors. THCP versus THC in the alkylyl chain. The alkylyl chain is part of the cannabinoid that bonds the receptors to the body's endocannabinoid system. THC has a 5-link alkali chain, which allows to bind effectively to the CB1 receptors in the brain, creating the psychoactive high that cannabis is known for. THCP, on the other hand, has 7-link alkylyl chain, which makes it bind more strongly to the CB1 receptors. This increased binding ability is why THCP is believed to be significantly more potent than THC. How much stronger? Research suggests that THCP is 33 times more active at CB1 receptors than THC. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that THCP is 33 times stronger in its effects on the human body. In practice, THCP is estimated to be about 5 to 10 times stronger than THC, depending on factors like dosage, tolerance, and individual body chemistry. This means that the small dose of THCP could potentially have the same psychoactive effects as a much larger doses of THC. For example, if you're used to consuming 10 milligrams of THC edible, consuming just 1 to 2 milligrams of THCP might produce a similar high. Potency and psychoactive effects. According to Burning Daily, the exact experience of THCP strength will depend on how it's consumed. Smoking or vaping THCP-rich cannabis may feel more intense than smoking THC-heavy strains. Because THCP binds more effectively to CB1 receptors, the psychoactive effects may be stronger and last longer, even at lower doses. In terms of psychoactive effects, users have reported that THCP delivers a more intense and prolonged high than THC. This means that cannabis products containing THCP could be much more potent and should be approached with caution, especially by beginners or those with low tolerance. How does THCP affect the body? THCP interacts with the body similarly to THC by engaging with the endocannabinoid system. The ECS plays a crucial role in regulating various functions, including mood, pain, appetite, and sleep. THC and THCP both bind to CB1 receptors in the brain, which is just the cause of well-known psychoactive effects. However, since THCP binds more strongly to these receptors, the effects are amplified. This could mean stronger feelings of euphoria, relaxation, and altered perception. It also can mean that the therapeutic benefits associated with THC, such as pain relief or stress reduction, are enhanced with THCP. Potential benefits of THCP. Because THCP binds more strongly to the CB1 receptors, it may offer amplified versions of THC. Benefits. Early research suggests that THCP may be useful for pain relief, anti-inflammatory, sleep aid, and however, more research needs to be fully understand the range of potential therapeutic benefits that THCP offers. Are there any risks? Like THC, THCP could have side effects, especially at higher doses. This may include anxiety or paranoia, dry mouth and dry eyes, increased heart rate. Because of its potency, it's essential to start with very low doses of THCP to gauge how your body reacts. Start low and go slow. Those new to cannabis or with low tolerance should be particularly cautious. How does THCP compare to other cannabinoids? THCP is not only a newly discovered cannabinoid with potent effects, it's helpful to compare the other cannabinoids like THC, CBD, and HHC, which we've talked about in prior episodes, to understand its unique place in that cannabis world. THCP versus THC. I mentioned earlier THCP is much stronger than THC, primarily due to the ability to bind more effectively in the CB1 receptors. While THC offers psychoactive effects and various medicinal benefits, THCP amplifies those effects, making it a more potent alternative. THC versus CBD. Unlike THC and THCP, CBD is non-psychoactive, meaning it doesn't get you high. CBD is often used to its potential therapeutic effects, such as reducing anxiety, relieving pain, or helping with sleep. Without its intoxication associated with THC, THCP, on the other hand, delivers a much stronger psychoactive experience and should not be confused with CBD. THCP versus HHC. HHC is another cannabinoid gaining attention, while HHC offers a more mild compared to THC. THCP is significantly more potent than both HHC and THC. HHC might be suitable for users looking for a less intense experience, while THCP is better for those seeking a much stronger high. Is THCP safe? THCP is still a relatively new discovery. There is limited research on the long-term safety. However, based on similarity to THC, it's likely that THCP has similar safety profile when used in moderation. As with any potent cannabinoid, the key to safe consumption is starting with low doses and increasing gradually. Because THCP is so much stronger than THC, consuming it too much can lead to overconsumption and unpleasant side effects like extreme intoxication, dizziness, or confusion. To avoid these risks, users should always start with a minimal amount of THCP and monitor their reaction. In conclusion, THCP is an exciting new cannabinoid that has taken the cannabis world by storm due to its incredible potency. With binding ability to up to 33 times stronger than THC, THCP is estimated to be about 5 to 10 times more potent in the psychoactive effects. This means that even small amounts of THCP can deliver a strong lasting high. While its potency may offer enhanced therapeutic benefits for pain relief, sleep disorders, and inflammation, it's crucial to approach THCP with caution. As a new and highly potent compound, it's best suited for experienced users who are familiar with THC's effects and want to explore something stronger. If you're new to cannabis or have a low tolerance, starting with small doses of THCP is the best way to ensure the safe and enjoyable experience. New cannabinoids, newer-ish, love it. How to help your health with cannabis. A fun and informative guide.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
All right. Cannabis is no longer just something you associate with 420 friendly vibes. It's also gaining a reputation as a natural health helper. From soothing aches and pains to helping you sleep better at night, cannabis is being celebrated for its wide range of potential health benefits. With more research happening every year, let's dive into how you can use cannabis to boost your health in a responsible way. How about pain relief? Treat it like a pro. One of the biggest reasons people turn to cannabis is for pain relief. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, or muscle soreness, cannabis could be a game changer. The two main compounds in cannabis, THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, and CBD, or cannabidiol, they work together with your body's endocannabinoid system to help regulate pain. According to a study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology in 2020, cannabis has been shown to reduce inflammation and pain perception, which is why it's used for conditions like MS and fibromyalgia. The best part? For many people, cannabis provides an alternative to opioids without the risk of addiction. So, if you're tired of reaching for painkillers, it might be worth giving CBD or THC a try. How about anxiety? Cannabis has your back. Ever feel like the stress of the day is just a little too much? If you're dealing with anxiety, you're not alone. Nearly 40 million adults in the United States are affected by it. But the good news is, cannabis might be able to help you take the edge off. CBD, in particular, has been shown to reduce anxiety in studies like the one published in the Permanente Journal in 2019. It's believed to interact with serotonin receptors in the brain, which help regulate mood. So if you're feeling on edge, CBD might be just what you need to chill out. However, a little heads up, THC can have a different effect. In higher doses, THC can actually increase anxiety in some people. If you're looking to use cannabis for anxiety, it's best to go with a strain that's higher in CBD and lower in THC. How about sleep? Maybe you can sleep like a baby. Cannabis and sleep is a match made in heaven. Many people swear by cannabis when it comes to improving their sleep, and there's some science backing it up. THC in particular has been shown to help people fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. A study from the National Institute on Drug Abuse found that THC might help people with insomnia by promoting deep sleep stages. CBD is also known for its calming effects, which can help reduce anxiety and pain, two common culprits of sleepless nights. So if you're tossing and turning, cannabis might help you hit the hay and wake up feeling refreshed. And mental health really matters, and cannabis is starting to get noticed for its potential benefits when it comes to mental health. So, while research is still in its early stages, there is some promising evidence that cannabis can help with depression and PTSD. CBD, in particular, is believed to have antidepressant-like effects. In fact, a review published in Neurotherapeutics in 2015 suggests that CBD has the potential to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Cannabis is also being looked at for its ability to ease PTSD symptoms, especially in veterans. A study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders in 2018 found that cannabis helped reduce nightmares and improve sleep quality for people with PTSD. If you're considering cannabis to help with mental health, it's always good to talk to your doctor first. Mental health is complex, and cannabis may not be the right fit for everyone. Then you may have a wellness routine and you want a wellness booster and just overall general help for like your vibe and your mood. Even if you're not dealing with chronic pain or anxiety, cannabis can still be a great addition to your wellness routine. Many people use CBD products like oils, tinctures, and capsules to help with inflammation, improve mood, and promote relaxation. These products are non-psychoactive, meaning they won't get you high, but they can still offer some impressive benefits. Let me clarify, by them saying that they're non-psychoactive, that would be a pure CBD distillate. If you're using like a full spectrum product, there's a chance that you're going to have a very, very, very small amount of THC, but it will be
possibly
there.
Broad spectrum too,
Broad,
right?
yeah, and broad. Take the example of Charlotte's Web, one of the most popular CBD brands. People rave about how their products have helped with everything from everyday stress to muscle recovery. Whether you're a fitness enthusiast or just looking to chill, CBD could be your new best friend. And let's not forget to use responsibly. Before you run out and grab any cannabis products, here's a friendly reminder. Start slow. Cannabis affects everyone differently, and finding the right dose for your body is key. Whether you're trying CBD for the first time or exploring THC for pain relief, always start with a low dose and see how you respond. If you're new to cannabis or have any health concerns, it's a great idea to talk to your doctor before incorporating it into your routine. Your health is number one, and your healthcare professional can guide you in making the right choice for your needs. Cannabis is not just about getting high. It is becoming a valuable tool in improving health and wellness. Whether you're using it for pain relief, anxiety management, better sleep, or overall well-being, there's a growing body of research that supports its benefits. But like any health product, the key is responsible use. So educate yourself and listen to your body. If you're curious about giving cannabis a try, why not explore how it might help you feel your best? With a little knowledge and the right approach, you could be on your way to a healthier, more relaxed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More American adults use cannabis as sleep aid than choose prescription pills or alcohol to fall asleep, poll shows. A new poll reveals that 16% of American adults use cannabis as a sleep aid, surpassing prescription sleep aids by 12%, and alcohol by 11%, but still trailing supplements at 26% and over-the-counter options at 19%. Conducted by the Harris Poll of Green Thumb Industries, it shows 58% of U.S. adults use some form of substance to help them sleep, with cannabis preferred by younger adults in lower-income households. The poll also highlights regional trends, with cannabis use for sleeping being most common in the West and Northeast. We use cannabis for sleeping.
Every day.
Every night.
Every night. Mm-hmm.
The old clog vape.
Yeah.
The old clog vape. Irritating as all as fucking hell. Pisses people off. Mm-hmm. I always like, this fucking vape is clogged. This vape is clogged. This vape is clogged.
They're always clogged.
They're always clogged.
They're always clogged.
If you don't smoke them consistently, they get clogged.
Yep.
Tell us how to fix it, Mrs. Weedman. The old clogger.
Many people have experienced the unfortunate circumstance of a clogged vape pen. After many unbothered pulls, it suddenly feels like air will never flow through the device again. This is annoying, to say the least. Having a vape pen for a long day out or an evening like a wedding can be a wonderful addition, but needing it to hit But needing to hit it like it's a too thick milkshake is a bad look. So, Green State spoke with technicians and experts at 3 leading vape brands to solve the problem. C-Cell brand shared that this is a question with many answers, and some may occur simultaneously. While Evie Meacham, Director of Strategic Accounts and Hyper-Custom Development at Active, dialed things in further, saying, this buildup is caused by incomplete vaporization, the improper pairing of extract to hardware configuration, faulty hardware components, or improper handling by the end user or manufacturer. A vape pen might develop a blockage for multiple reasons, and some easily learned user habits can help avoid future problems. I am really struggling to read right now. Have you noticed?
How stoned are you?
I guess a lot. Does it sound really funny? Like, I'm not connecting the dots between words.
I just was like, I wonder if the OPP got
yeah,
you.
the OPP got my brain. Really. I'm going to keep going. Just bear with me. Why vapes clog and how to stop it? Well, temperature changes, oil viscosity, improper storage, and low quality or improperly manufactured technology are often behind a clogged vape. Each creates a blockage in its own way and can be avoided with individual methods. Let's begin with temperature levels. Rapid temperature swings might lead to a clogged vape, whether it's hot or cold. When the oil gets hot, it becomes more viscous. Viscous oil easily travels around different parts of the cartridge or pod. When this gets into the airway, it will lead to clogging. On the other end of the thermometer, cold oil is thicker and harder to pull. Super thick extracts require more battery power, a power struggle that may lead to clogging. The dense viscosity also makes it more difficult to pull oil into the vape component that heats the oil. How to fix it? For the longest lasting hardware, keep all vape pens stored at a neutral temperature. What is proper use and storage? Long multi-hit vape sessions can also lead to issues. After lots of use, condensation builds up. And as the buildup moves back into the oil, it can block the pathway. On the other hand, infrequent use might do the same. The oil could settle and change thickness as it ages, eventually causing a block. How to fix it? Avoid this type of blockage by metering use. Don't suck on a vape pen constantly. Let it cool down a bit. On the other hand, don't let them sit for months and then expect the hardware to work the same as it did out of the package. Keep your pens upright, not on their side or sitting in tote bags. We happen to know a brand, Vape and Prop, and also there's a lot of dab stations and other accessories, and those products are made for keeping your vape upright. Change in pressure. Taking a vape pen to a high altitude, whether on a plane or up to a mountain summit, the outside pressure can flood the pen core. How can you fix that if it's a clog? Alexander Gordon, Vice President of Research and Development at Active, had great advice in these situations. Travel with your hardware upside down, he said. This will alleviate pressure on the oil hold. Manufacturer's error. How a vape is made makes a difference. That goes for everything from the tech used to when it's filled. Low-quality components may clog more often than high-quality ones. This can come down to the materials used and the steps taken during manufacturing. Quality control should be the last guardrail in place to catch any issues that slip through the cracks. Clogging may be imminent if any of these corners are cut. Luna Stower, head of impact at iSpire, shared that clogging comes down to how the tip is capped onto the hardware, 90% of the time. Active's Gordon elaborated on Stower's sentiment, saying, if incorrect filling temperatures, devices, or capping methods are not matched properly to the hardware and oil types, it could flood cores from the start, leading to downstream clogging, he explained. There's another back-end art of optimizing hardware for the oil inside. This delicate process of matching the electrical power being fed through the hardware to the oil's viscosity is essential to having a good vape experience. This can impact the flavor, the clouds, and how long your pen can last. How to fix it? Buy the best pen possible, and that is the best way to avoid your problems. Check the brand website to learn what hardware they run. This is not often common knowledge for bud tenders, but packaging may indicate what brand of tech houses the oil. Oftentimes, shopping for the highest quality means a more expensive product, but some affordable brands use quality vape technology. Okay, incorrect temperatures. Vaping at temperatures that are too high or too low can incite clogs too. Low temperature vaping can sometimes disrupt the cycle of how oil flows into the hardware. And when oil is too hot, it may thin and travel into the hardware. How to fix it? A 2 volt or below is considered too low. Alternatively, don't vape with a battery over a 4 volt either. The common term 510 that you hear has to do with the threading size where the battery attaches to the oil cartridge. But more importantly, the vape temp settings are often represented by LED color indicators on a unit, so read your manual for exact voltage settings. All right, so your vape is clogged. Some of you may have approached this article with a pen that is already clogged. In those cases, it may work to suck their auto draw battery so hard that the clog rights itself. We know we've done that, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Blow into it, suck on it really.
My eyeballs
right.
felt like they were going to pop out of a socket.
Yeah. But certain vapes have a preheat function that can dissolve a clog. However, use this trick sparingly. Preheat too much and it could go the other way and create blockages. Blowing on the bottom of the cart like it's a Nintendo 64 game could work too. Just kidding. That they wrote that. These tips may help unclog your vape, but some blocks cannot be reversed. The best bet is to avoid the interruption altogether. But that's not always possible. So it is advised to store your vape gadgets correctly, use them at an ideal temperature, and buy quality hardware for the best results.
The old clogger.
Cloggity clog, clog, clog.
Especially here in Illinois, because
temperature changes.
1 gram. No. How much they cost?
Oh, you're talking
You walk
about,
out the door at $120, $130 with tax. Especially if you're buying 2 gram vapes now, and if that shit clogs or leaks, man, you just lost a lot. Well,
and I don't know why it can't be that everyone just buys a battery, and you just go to the dispensary to get a cartridge. I don't know why that hasn't become a thing yet. That you all these disposable vapes.
Well, it's a shit ton of disposable vapes, but there's also still the free 510 thread where you just have your battery at home and you go pick one up, and there's a lot of people like the convenience of having the disposable vapes.
You could deal with not having the clogs because you could buy a nice battery and it lasts longer. Yeah, you're not throwing it away all the time.
100%.
Saving money.
Yeah, saving the planet.
Saving the environment.
Yeah, I get it. Capitalism at its finest, I guess, right?
Just wastefulness.
Very, very wastefulness. Hey, everybody out there in the world, don't forget to check out 8decades.com for all your cannabis accessory needs. Check out Mrs Weedman's baby, 8decades.com. The best smoking tray on the planet. The best cannabis clothing line on the planet. A great steamroller that people love to smoke out of. And also the great mirror and glass jars that we have here with the 8 Decades logo on it to protect your weed at all times. So check out, everybody, 8decades.com. And sign up for our newsletter, too. The next newsletter will be coming out sometime this quarter. So check out 8decades.com, everybody. And thank you for all who support. Because if you support us, we get to keep on doing this show for you every week. Thank you very much. Political news, state news, business news. But first, smoke break.
Drink break.
Drink break, smoke
glug,
break.
glug, 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 glug.
Oh, yeah. That first hour went fast.
Yeah. Even with my rambling.
OPP.
You know, rambling happens. Right?
Yeah.
You ramble sometimes.
Sometimes I don't know which way I'm coming or going. It could be like this.
That's the story of my life.
Oh, shit.
It happens. Pass that my way.
I do
Mr.
like this
Weedman.
OPP, though. It
I
is
do
very
too.
nice.
I can't read very well, but I probably shouldn't get really high because my next article I'm reading is really long.
Oh, it's long, but it's also
all
got some really
political
good. It's
and-
also got some really good
Yep.
information in there too. So
I'll be all right. I'll get there.
well, let's talk about political, state, and business news, everybody. Tiny joints have exploded in popularity in the state of California. We like our dog walkers, but those are 0.5 grams. We like those. We roll 0.5 gram joints for people when we're rolling joints. I like a good small little shoddy, you know. But this is even in California. Tiny cannabis joints have gained massive popularity, and these mini joints containing as little as 0.25 to 0.35 grams of cannabis cater to the user seeking smaller, easily consumable portions without the need to extinguish and store half a smoked joint. Companies have responded by producing millions of these joints annually, appealing to the casual user and becoming a staple for social settings like parties. The rise in these joints is also attributed to modern cannabis potency and changing social habits. The first time I saw a shoddy, you know, and not shoddy, our producer, a shoddy, a small little doink, I'm like, these things are amazing. Because we're always used to rolling like, you know, 1 1/4 or bigger, you know, you blunts, you know, and most of the time, you know, you take a couple of hits, 3 hits, and you put it down. I don't smoke a whole joint on a Saturday during the day. I might take, but a little guy, like it's almost like doing a 1-y. You know, they take 2 hits from a 1-hitter, the little 0.25. You're taking 3 or 4 hits, you're golden. You know, so I think it's a wonderful idea. Plus, adding to the effect of why pre rolls are one of the fastest growing segments of the industry, and up 14.2%. And it's a $4 billion industry right now, just pre rolls. And that's a great new way to. I want to make one called the Little Doink. With Mr. Weedman's face on there going, Meh. The Little Doink.
I'm over here just stuck in my brain, like my brain wandered. I was on another planet.
It's all right.
I know what you're talking about, though. I heard you.
Little Doinks?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's legal in Oklahoma for pregnant women to use medical marijuana. A bill aims to change that. A new bill in Oklahoma aims to change to ban the use of medical marijuana by pregnant women following a court ruling that protects these women from prosecution. Currently, pregnant women with a valid medical marijuana license cannot face charges even if their newborns test positive for cannabis. The bill introduced by Representative Anthony Moore could change this by making it easier to charge women with child neglect. Critics argue that the bill discriminates against women and may deter them from seeking prenatal care. Also in Oklahoma, lawmakers filed a bill to establish employment protections for legal cannabis consumers. Isn't that weird? Like, it doesn't, you know. Oklahoma State Forrest Bennett has introduced House Bill 1714 to provide employment protections for legal cannabis users, including medical marijuana patients. The bill prohibits employees from rejecting applicants based on non-psychoactive cannabis metabolites found in drug tests, except for safety-sensitive jobs and those requiring federal clearances. Employees can still enforce drug-free policies and test for impairment on the job. If passed, the law would take effect on November 1st of 2025. Over $600,000 worth of illicit cannabis found in Minnesota marijuana stores in 2024. Those little bodegas. The Florida cannabis market is struggling. I wonder why. Because you should have just, man, if it would have went wreck, Florida, your world would be a whole new world. The Florida cannabis market is struggling due to slowdown in patient growth and declining medical cannabis revenue. Until sales of smokable flower and other products have increased, revenue growth remains sluggish. The state's major cannabis operations, including TruLeaf, are facing challenges as competition intensifies and prices drop. Investor confidence has waned, especially after the failure of the recent adult use legalization ballot initiative, leading to significant declines in stock values for Florida's key multi-sappers. I don't feel bad for TruLeaf because they just opened up their 236th dispensary in Florida. That's just in Florida. I don't feel bad. Traditional market for the win. Indiana lawmakers look to Michigan and Illinois. I don't know why you're looking at Illinois, but as a guide for how to legalize marijuana with the right regulations. Indiana lawmakers Reps Sue Arrington and Jim Lucas are exploring marijuana legalization, looking to Michigan and Illinois as models for regulation. Although Republicans hold a supermajority in the state is hesitant about full legalization, support is growing, with figures like Lucas advocating for medical marijuana due to personal experiences with veterans and patient stories. Arrington supports both medical and adult use legalization, citing medical benefits shared by her constituents. The state could potentially earn $171 million in tax revenue from marijuana sales. You don't deserve any of it, though. Anyway. As marijuana industry groups closes, Colorado leads focuses on improving state's MJ rules. The marijuana industry group MIG, a key cannabis business organization in Colorado, is shutting down after over a decade of advocating for the state's cannabis industry. MIG had planned to merge with Colorado Leads, another industry organization, but instead decided to cease operations. Colorado Leads will continue to focus on reducing regulatory burdens and adjusting taxes for better support the cannabis industry during the state's economic downturn. Pennsylvania governor wants to legalize marijuana so residents stop sending tax money to other states. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro supports marijuana legalization to stop residents from buying cannabis in neighboring states like Maryland and New York. With siphons tax revenue, he sees the new legislative session as an opportunity to push legalization, particularly as the state faces potential budget shortfalls. While Republican lawmakers express caution, emphasizes public safety and community impacts, there is growing bipartisan interest. Shapiro also prioritizes social justice and economic opportunity for communities affected by past drug laws. Cottonmouth. What a bitch. I will tell you what, though. This new product I found, if someone was posting this on TikTok, and I ordered it, the Boom Boom, my nose does not get stuffy during a show anymore.
It's really helpful.
It's fucking amazing. If you have a eruptive septum like I do, been in too many fights and got too many bloody noses, and and then also my left side nostril gets clogged up when I get high, this Boom Boom, the Boom Boom, it's good stuff. And they don't sponsor the show or nothing, but if you have trouble with nose issues like breathing, I'm telling you what, whew,
it's pretty nice.
It's pretty redonkulous. It's really good. Trump's new DA head says marijuana is a gateway drug. What a fucking idiot. The cause is psychosis and other mental health problems. Derek Maltz, the acting DA head under Trump, has expressed strong opposition to cannabis, calling it a gateway drug. You should listen to this show, Derek. Linked to mental health issues like psychosis, schizophrenia, and
Get
anxiety.
educated.
Yes. He argues that the marijuana high THC content contributes to these problems and that legalization efforts fail to reduce illegal market activity due to high taxes. Maltz's stance has sparked concern among reform advocates, especially regarding his opposition to cannabis rescheduling efforts. Trump, get him out of there. Get Mr. Maltz, Derek Maltz, out of the DA. They're already fucking everything up anyway. Mrs. Weedman's going to talk about it in a minute here, but get him out. AOC and Elon Omar blast DA heads. They call him a boomer mentality. Boomer mentality claims that marijuana is a harmful gateway drug. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Elon Omar criticized DA head Derek Maltz outdated views on cannabis, calling them boomer opinions. Omar argued that cannabis debate shouldn't focus on youth misuse, while OC suggested that rescheduling would allow for more scientific research. The lawmakers expressed frustration over Maltz's stance on the issue. 96% of marijuana consumers say DEA is biased against rescheduling proposal it's supposed to defend. Polls show. A recent poll reveals that 96% of marijuana consumers believe the DEA is biased against the proposal to reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. In fact, more than 9 in 10 people who use marijuana share that skepticism. The survey conducted by NUG-MD highlights distrust towards the DEA's role in the process, especially given the agency's past opposition to cannabis reform. Advocates are concerned about the agency's stance, and the process has faced delays amid allegations of improper influence and resistance. Lawmakers weigh in, expanding Iowa's medical cannabis program. Their medical program is just booty. Mm-hmm. There's like 5 dispensaries in the whole state, and they're located centrally. And so people have to drive for hours to go to get like, there's only 2 cultivators in the whole state. So here's this. Iowa legislators this week advanced a proposal that would expand the state's medical marijuana program by possibly doubling the number of authorized dispensaries in Iowa from 5 to as many as 10. Woo!
Like,
come on, Iowa.
Yeah, really? Like,
Man.
How about 200?
They don't even think they need that many.
100.
But like 75 in the state of Iowa for medical would be perfect.
Yeah.
You know? 400,000 pounds of marijuana in storage, and rats are the only ones enjoying it. Remember we talked about Louisiana? The rats enjoy it. This is 400,000 pounds across the country. Police departments across the U.S. face a unique problem. Rats and pests. Cucarachas and cockroaches and mold and fungi and bacteria and rats are consuming marijuana and other evidence in storage. disrupting over 3,600 drug cases. In Houston, 400,000 pounds of marijuana are infested, and the city is considering burning old narcotics to clear storage. However, legal experts warn that destroying evidence could hinder future investigations. Since the 1940s.
Come on, they're holding
since
weed.
the 1940s.
I want to smoke that shit.
I know.
Distribute it.
I want the seeds. I want the seeds.
Right.
If they got any seeds,
you know there's
in that
seeds
weed,
back then.
Just some officer hooked Mr. Weedman up with some of those seeds from back then. There'd be a lot of happy breeders if we can get those seeds to go. Despite extermination efforts, the rat problem remains severe, and the costly process of evidence disposal is underway. More details to follow on that. The rats.
The
street rats like
the
myself.
Rats.
Just taking
They
it.
always find the za.
They do. They do. Either the Zaza or the Zaza. This kind of like irks me a little bit hearing this. New York coffers hit new high for marijuana tax receipts. It's extraordinary, says Governor Hochul. Our coffers are filled with money now. Oh, yeah. But you fucking arrested people and threw people in jail and bastardized and criticized and beat people up and robbed people for weed for how many years? And now, because it's your cash cow,
They're happy.
governor, and all you fucking politicians across the country and across the world, because now you get to use it for your liking, and we had to be beat up for 5,000 years on cannabis. Well, let's just say since in the United States here, really realistically since 1906, and then 1937, and then 1971, and up to the Reagan years, and then you had the Bush years, and then you had this years, and these presidents all saying shit and using it as their political ploy to get us to vote for them now, and then they don't do anything for it. This makes me fucking want to vomit. Vomit. That we have to give our hard-earned tax dollars, our hard-earned money to taxes on something they beat up, bastardized, and basically fucked us all for the next 50 to 100 years, even longer, because it's still under scrutiny around the world. So New York coffers are starting to get financially high from marijuana sales after a slow start. The Empire State is expected to generate $161.8 million in tax revenue from its legal weed business for the fiscal year ending in March 31st of 2024, or 4 times what it raked in last year. Governor Hochul budget released last week also projected generating $248 million revenue from the state licensed cannabis industry for the next fiscal year, running from April 1st to March 31st of 2026. 40% of the state's revenue from the legal cannabis taxes are allocated to education, which is I'm fine. Where they're putting it, I'm not mad about, but it's just the point that just reading that headline just irked me a lot. Allocated to education funding across the state, while another 40% goes to community reinvestment program and will provide grants to neighborhoods most impacted by cannabis prohibition. I'm if it's used the right way, but I'm still mad. So. Virginia House bill to legalize retail marijuana sales moves forward, but the threat of a veto looms. A Virginia House bill to legalize retail marijuana sales passed a subcommittee, but faces strong opposition from Governor Glenn Youngkin, who is expected to veto it. The bill aims to regulate the state's illicit cannabis market by allowing adults to purchase up to 2.5 ounces from licensed retailers and a tax up to 11.625%. Supporters argue that the regulation will reduce illicit sales, while opponents cite concerns over safety and societal impacts. Oh my God. Maryland outlines vision for cannabis consumption lounges. Maryland lawmakers are considering a bill that can establish cannabis consumption lounges, allowing adults to use marijuana in designated public spaces. The proposal aims to regulate consumption, reduce public smoking, and generate tax revenue. However, industry experts express concerns that stringent regulations could hinder the success of these lounges. The bill is currently under review, and its future remains uncertain. You have bars where people go and drink. You have lounges, jazz lounges where people go and drink. You have cigar lounges where people can get and sit and have a beer. This is just still just beating up cannabis. We were just at a bar, and people weren't smoking inside, but they went outside. Calm. Conversation was nice. You go to a bar in Wrigleyville on a fucking Saturday night at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. You got people puking outside on the sidewalks, fucking trash all over the place, and fist fights happening in the middle of the street. I've never seen this at a cannabis event. And you still have scrutiny, and we're still under beatdown, but you love our tax dollars there. Politicians. I digress. New Nebraska bills would implement and in some cases restrict access to medical marijuana approved by voters. Nebraska lawmakers have introduced several bills to implement medical marijuana legalization following voter-approved, while most bills seek to establish a registry and licensing system for patients and caregivers. A more restrictive proposal limits legal cannabis to a low THC dose in pill or tincture form. So you're just going to do what Alabama did, just suppositories and peach rings. That's it. That's all you can get in Alabama. So you just, sorry, Alabama, I love you. Advocates argue that latter doesn't reflect voter intent, and some lawmakers push for more expansive regulations to ensure swift access to care. The legalization is under review, with the key regulatory deadline set for July 2025. Florida bill would let medical marijuana patients grow at home and crack down on hemp-derived cannabinoids. A new Florida bill will allow medical marijuana patients to grow up to 2 plants, at home, but impose strict conditions. It also targets the hemp-derived cannabinoid market by banning certain cannabinoids like Delta-8 THC and imposing limits on Delta-9 THC. So all you guys out there and all you folks in the hemp industry that gave to DeSantis to help him save the hemp industry, whoa, what are you going to do, hemp industry, when DeSantis in Florida comes down on you? The bill also restricts hemp product sales and advertising, including bans on street stalls and sales near schools. The proposal aims to balance patient rights with tighter regulations and hemp-derived products. Banning Texas hemp could backfire, experts warn. A proposed hemp ban in Texas could backfire. Experts warn, potentially pushing the $8 billion hemp market underground and straining law enforcement resources. A report from the Baker Institute suggests that such a ban would undermine safety and create a challenge for regulators already underfunded. The report advocates for a more balanced approach, including age restrictions, safety standards, and stricter oversight. Lawmakers are expected to review hemp regulations in 2025, though the outcome remains uncertain. A new bill in the state of Washington would legalize home marijuana cultivation and allow producers to sell cannabis directly to consumers. 2 new bills in the state of Washington aim to legalize home cultivation of marijuana and allow cannabis producers to sell directly to consumers. The proposed bills would permit adults to grow up to 6 plants for personal use and remove restrictions of the amount they can possess. These measures, introduced by Representative Shelley Kloba, face strong opposition but have growing support, with the hope of passing in 2025. The home grow bill has gathered substantial backing from industry groups.
That's great.
Let's go home grow. Let's go home grow. Everybody should have the right to be able to grow this plant. Been saying that for a very long time. Now, to end this, Mrs. Weedman, you have a long article.
I do.
How stoned are you right now?
I'm ready.
Need a break?
Nope, I can do it.
2 minutes? Need a pep talk?
Nope.
You got this?
I got it. I
believe in you. Look at my eyes. I got you right here.
Yeah, you almost poked your eye out. I got it.
Thoughts on the terrible pageant of marijuana rescheduling?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. So I wanted to preface this. This is a first-person article written by Vince Sliwowski, and Vince is an award-winning business lawyer, problem solver, and deal maker. His clients run the gamut from individual investors and entrepreneurs to widely held domestic and international corporations. Based in Portland, Oregon, he is managing partner of Harris Sliwowski and editor of the Canna Law blog and the Psychedelics Law blog. So he's an attorney with a pronounced firm representing these topics. So it's a good perspective. Here we go. It's been a wild week, and this is a very current this week. This is a new release, new episode or article. It's been a wild week in the rulemaking around marijuana rescheduling, to say the least. I've started writing about it a couple of times, only to be whipsawed by filings, rulings, prominent hot takes, prominent rebuttals, and more. Here are my thoughts on the state of this terrible pageant in FAQ format. Here we go. What is even going on right now? Let's start with the procedural posture. Marijuana rescheduling is mired in an administrative rulemaking process, whereby the DEA is the hapless, cynical proponent of the proposed DOJ rule. Specifically, in May of 2024, DOJ appointed DEA to carry its water on moving marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substances Act. DOJ's recommendation takes the form of a Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, or an NOPR. The notice was issued because President Biden, in October of 2022, directed the Department of Health and Human Services to revisit the Schedule 1 status of marijuana. The Health and Human Services did so in collaboration with its downstream agency, the FDA, and recommended Schedule 3. Department of Justice then proposed the rule to reschedule. Fast forward to this week. Midway through the rulemaking process, DEA Chief Administrative Law Judge John J. Mulrooney II issued an order on Monday, January 13th, canceling the merit-based proceedings that were set to begin on Tuesday, January 21st, and granting an interlocutory appeal. The judge so ruled a motion by a small but steely crew of pro-Schedule 3 witnesses who were selected by DEA to testify in the proceeding. This intrepid crew is led by Village Farms International Incorporated. Let's call them the Villagers. Judge Mulrooney's order agitated the internet cesspit of cannabis law discourse mightily. Certain people were quite upset with the Villagers, while others rushed to their defense. We'll talk more about this. So the next question. But what did the judge actually say? The judge said several remarkable things, the likes of which we don't often hear in administrative proceedings. Alas, I cannot examine them all in this small space. However, most prominently, His Honor reprimanded DEA for unprecedented and astonishing defiance of an evidential directive. He also characterized DEA's bad behavior as especially unusually bad, even among the numerous, extraordinary, and puzzling actions taken thus far by the government during the course of this proceeding. Okay. Then he says, how long is this delay? He says, it's going to be at least 3 months, friends. Could be more. And there are further developments that could distend this already sorry state of affairs. Foremost among them are imminent changes to DOJ and DEA personnel with the incoming Trump administration, and the related question of whether that administration will weigh in on rescheduling one way or the other. As Trump's Attorney General Matt Gaetz would have been great for Schedule 3 prospects, given his private love of controlled substances and his public statements on marijuana reform, Pam Bondi, well, maybe not so much. As to Trump, the man himself endorsed rescheduling on the campaign trail, for whatever that's worth. Then he asks, is the hearing cancellation good overall for Schedule 3 prospects? In the long term, I believe that it is. Rulemaking is the process of making a record. The process, as well as its results, is subject to litigation and appeal. For this reason, you want a good record. Interlocutory appeals, like the Villagers, are seldom granted, but the judge granted this one due to DEA's flagrant disrespect for rulemaking process. Judge Mulrooney is both making and protecting the record and guarding against some later appeal based on the fact that DEA's shithousery tarnished that record. So expect more fireworks to come. Then he asks, why is the cannabis industry divided over the hearing cancellation? Well, many people feel that this cumbersome and essentially political process could come to a halt, owing to excessive delay. It's making them nervous. An attorney for the National Cannabis Industry Association, the NCIA, who, like me, is not an administrative litigator, lamented that Judge Mulrooney's order arises from a procedural sideshow caused by the Villagers. The NCIA, which has never been able to move the needle on rescheduling, now argues that the Villagers, although pro-Schedule 3, are undermining Schedule 3 by litigating the rulemaking. The charge was not well taken. The Villagers replied that their advocacy is vital to ensure a balanced record and rulemaking, and that it is DEA, not them, which has imperiled Schedule 3. Okay, next question. Is the judge being fair? Well, I think he is. He's paying attention, he's smart, and he has ruled quickly and decisively throughout the process. Generally speaking, Judge Mulrooney's rulings have been even-handed. To that point, we've also seen him take the villagers to task throughout the proceedings, including on big-ticket items such as their demand that DEA be removed as proponent in this rulemaking. Overall, the judge is in a difficult position, but he's certainly working hard. Next question. If the villagers didn't screw this up, who did? I'll start from the top and try to be brief about it. Joe Biden screwed up by putting us into an administrative process to reschedule marijuana back in October of 2022. Remember, in the 2020 campaign, Biden promised to decriminalize the use of cannabis and automatically expunge all prior cannabis use convictions. He didn't do that.
But he did say it.
Yep. Or even give it a shot, including when his party had control of Congress. Last year, when he announced his bid for re-election, I graded him a gentleman's C for his cannabis policy efforts, and I again criticized him for passing the buck with rescheduling, putting us on an uncertain, circuitous path. If Biden didn't want to deal with Congress, he also could have leaned on Merrick Garland as Attorney General to commence rescheduling proceedings. He didn't do that either. And Merrick Garland screwed up. He himself signed the NOPR in his official capacity as Attorney General. All was high and tight because the CSA, the Controlled Substance Act, vests the Attorney General with the authority to schedule, reschedule, or decontrol drugs. The Attorney General has traditionally delegated that authority to the DEA administrator. However, the Attorney General also retains the authority to schedule drugs under the Controlled Substance Acts in the first instance. Garland should have done that. Instead, he kicked it down to DEA, a body which has shown repeated disdain for law and judicial orders. Garland's decision also stirred up a hornet's nest of tedious legal arguments around delegation, whether the DEA should be the proponent here, etc. Okay. Also, the DEA and Ann Milgram screwed up. They ostensibly wanted a hearing because marijuana rescheduling is a matter of public import, but a hearing wasn't necessary. In fact, none of this was really necessary. DEA could have issued an interim final rule immediately, putting marijuana on the Schedule 3 last year. DEA does this all the time, by the way, including with hemp. I have no faith in DEA. My colleagues have written on this blog since 2015 that DEA ought to be disbanded. I'm with them, and that I don't feel optimistic about DEA's approach to the rest of these proceedings. How could anyone, regardless of who sits in Milgram's next chair, or in the chair next? Then he says, what's going on in parallel proceedings? Well, there's the FOIA litigation. That's the Freedom of Information Act. Relentless DEA foe Matt Zorn recently sued DEA over in the D.C. Circuit on an FOIA request. He sought an order requiring DEA to immediately turn over certain emails and communications which demonstrate DEA's contempt for marijuana rescheduling and the rulemaking process and collusion with prohibitionists. The court ruled against his request for a preliminary injunction on January 6th. The ruling was not particularly surprising. Injunctions are hard to get, and that case isn't over. It could be mooted at some point, though. Then there's also the excluded party litigation. Out in the Western District of Washington, the Department of Justice told a federal court on January 15th to pause a lawsuit by Panacea Plant Sciences challenging the rescheduling process. I am still hopeful for Schedule 3. Friends, nothing is ever easy in cannabis. In the narrow context of this rulemaking, it really comes down to this. A bunch of people, many of them law enforcement officials, are arguing to a pretty smart judge that they know better than the Health and Human Services who are full of scientists, doctors, researchers, etc., about the medical benefits and harms of marijuana. Health and Human Services made an exhaustive 250-page finding that marijuana has currently accepted medical use and doesn't belong on Schedule 1. And while the Controlled Substance Act is clear that while DOJ maintains final authority to reschedule marijuana, it is also clear that the Health and Human Services recommendations shall be binding as to scientific and medical matters. So let's see if DEA can actually unring this bell, assuming that's the actual motive. I don't think it can, especially while being exposed by the villagers, reprimanded by its own administrative law judge, and generally held to account. Not very promising.
No, it hasn't. And I mean, we've talked about this a lot in the show. I mean, 5.5 years we fight for freedom of the plant, and politicians have been using cannabis as a tool
for years,
for a very long time. Whether for the good of the plant or the hating the plant, the stigmatization of the plant, and I think a lot of people were excited when Biden said he was going to decriminalize it and get it off the schedule altogether, and it never happened. And we saw, and we waited, and we were patiently waiting, and it was so much news, so much news in the last 4 years about cannabis, this, that. And it just gets to the point where it's just like, that's why I love the underground, and the underground will always survive. I don't give a fuck about the government, and when it comes to cannabis, I'm gonna, no matter what, I've always gotten my flower, with or without the government approval. I don't give a fuck. It's my choice in how I want to live my life. Only one person can judge me for it, and that's it. So this plant was put on this planet for us to use. I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000 times. This plant's not for the government. It's not for people to make billions of dollars. It's for all of us to use in how we want, to make money at it, to be able to make a living at it, to teach people how to make a living at it, to be able to use it how we want to use it. As long as we're not hurting anybody or poisoning anybody with this plant, it should be us right to use. And no government will ever tell me not to use this plant. You could shut me down, but you can't stop me from using it. Mm-hmm. So, and I truly believe that. And I truly believe that we will keep on getting the cheese dangled in front of us or the carrot dangled in front of us for the next 4 years.
For as long as they can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they love that money.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Hochul, my coffmans are full of weed money. Yeah, now you love us. But for fucking years, you fucking beat us over a plant. Man, I can go on for a very long time about that. But we'll talk about international news instead. How the European cannabis seed companies are quietly taking over the U.S. market. European cannabis seed companies are increasingly entering the U.S. market, capitalizing on the nation's expanding cannabis industry. The U.S. cannabis seed market was valued at $567.76 million in 2022 and is projected to grow to $2.2 billion by 2030. Globally, it's supposed to grow to about $5 billion industry globally. So here in the United States, by 2030, $2.2 billion. Companies like DNA Genetics, founded in Amsterdam in 2004, have established a strong presence in the U.S. market. DNA Genetics specializes in crossbreeding various cannabis strains and has expanded its operations to California, Amsterdam, and Canada. The entry of the European companies into the U.S. market is driven by the potential for significant growth and the opportunity to introduce established European cannabis genetics to American consumers. This trend reflects the increasing globalization of cannabis industry, with European companies seeking to capitalize on the U.S. market. Remember, all you folks listening in the United States, though, there's a lot of fine breeders here in the United States. And I know Europe's doing their thing and bringing stuff over here. I get all that, but there's some phenomenal breeders in this country. Mm-hmm. And there's phenomenal breeders all over the world. We've interviewed a bunch of them on the Grow Hour. And I'm not saying you support whoever you want to support, but there's some fine breeders here and just curators of this plant. So don't forget about us. Panama and cannabis. Panama legalized medical cannabis in 2021, becoming the first Central American nation to do so. The government created regulations in 2022 to oversee cultivation, production, and distribution. While recreational cannabis remains illegal, it is used to somewhat tolerated, especially among young people. Panama aims to establish a robust medical cannabis industry, which hopes to become a hub for international trade. The country is focusing on ensuring quality standards for local production while exploring the benefits of cannabis integration into healthcare. Trudeau's departure is turning a point for Canada's cannabis industry. The Department of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau marks a turning point of Canada's cannabis industry. Trudeau legalization of cannabis in 2018 reshaped the country's economy, but the potential rise of conservative government could threaten the sector's growth. Proposed budget cuts to the cannabis regulatory body could slow licensing processes and reform. Industry leaders stressed the need for ongoing regulatory improvements and public engagement to preserve Canada's position as the global cannabis leader. Poland eyes CBD ban as its medical cannabis crackdown sees prescription numbers plummet. Poland is considering a ban on CBD products amid a significant decline in medical cannabis prescriptions following a crackdown on telemedicine services. This regulatory shift has led to a substantial reduction in the number of prescriptions issued, prompting discussions about the future of CBD and medical cannabis access in the country. Poland, what is wrong with you? It's two totally different cannabinoids. Why would you ban CBD? See, some people don't want THC. You're going to ban something that's going to help the people living in your country. Makes no sense. That is just asinine, old mind thinking. You're people that live in Poland, you need to tell your government to fucking fix their shit, because don't ban CBD. It has a lot of benefits. I will take that in 1 second. As soon as I introduce you. That was international news, everybody. And we're going to smoke a little more of this joint while Mrs. Weedman talks about the healthy munchies for stoners, burners, and potheads. 8, and maybe you might have more. You might have found some more. 8 healthy munchies for all you stoners, burners, and potheads. Yeah. Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Snacking on your favorite munchies is great until you start feeling your unhealthy options catch up to you. Yeah, Mrs. Weedman was feeling that. Little mushy here, little mushy there. Yep.
I like the mushy.
Whether it's weight gain, lethargy, poor mental health, or digestive issues, there are various ways unhealthy food can impact us. We know our fellow stoners get hungry, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're looking to snack on something a bit more beneficial, you've come to the right place. Whether you're looking to lose weight or simply eat healthier, we've gathered a list of 8 healthy munchies for guilt-free snacking. Without further ado, here's your options. Chia pudding. Chia seeds are incredibly versatile. You can add them to almost anything, and they'll help you
especially
stay
at the top
full.
Of your head and make it grow.
Chia. They'll help you stay full longer. They also contain essential nutrients that you might be missing out on. Making chia pudding is incredibly easy. Add a tablespoon of seeds to a bowl with a tablespoon of milk. I didn't know that. A little maple syrup or honey for sweetness, and let it sit for at least a half hour or overnight and enjoy. Apples and peanut butter.
Your favorite.
My breakfast every day. Pretty much every day. You know what they say? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Apples are incredibly beneficial by providing essential nutrients like vitamin C and potassium, not to mention being a great source of fiber. Extra points if you're using all-natural peanut butter or almond butter. Slice up an apple, take a spoonful of butter, and crunch on this delightfully healthy snack. It's so good. My mouth is watering talking
Yuki
about
enjoys it too.
Yeah, we share. Yogurt and berries. Yogurt is wildly beneficial for your gut microbiome. It contains healthy bacteria known as probiotics that nourish the good bacteria in your gut. A healthy gut leads to a healthy body and mind. Whether you're stoned and craving something sweet, have a bowl of yogurt and a handful of berries. It will leave you feeling satisfied every time. Rice cakes. They are good. If you prefer salt, they are very good. With peanut butter and chocolate chips on them. Or the caramel coated ones that are like the Crispies.
Oh yeah, I know. I like those. Those are great.
If you prefer salty and crunchy snacks, rice cakes are a great option. Of course, you could opt for low sodium options, but regardless, rice cakes are low in calories, fat, and sugar, and they're also gluten-free. Crunch in these rounds next time you need a stoned snack. The ones drizzled with chocolate or caramel, are a chef's kiss good. They really are. Crunchy kale chips, yes.
You love
crunchy
making
kale.
Your own crunchy
oh my
kale
God.
at home.
I'm just going to cut to the chase. It's delicious. I'll tell you more. Hang on. I'll read what is here first. I don't want to go off on a tangent. Here's an even healthier option than rice cakes. When you're looking to crunch to your heart's content in front of a good movie, kale chips are an excellent choice. They're incredibly easy to make. Simply lay out some kale on a baking sheet, drizzle with olive oil, salt, and any seasoning of choice, and bake at 300 for 10 to 15 minutes. And consider your munchies cured. And it is literally that easy. A little drizzle of lemon is really nice.
It's very, with the lemon, when you add that little touch, gives a little zing.
Yeah. You can buy the pre-washed bag in the produce department. It's like less than $5, and it's like having a whole bag of chips when you're done. It's like having a bowl of popcorn. Just don't stop eating it.
It's actually the only way I like eating kale.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. And then there's tomato, cheese, and balsamic. This is one of my favorite snacks of all time, but it does take some time to prepare. It's best used with mozzarella or broccolini cheese. Oh, not broccolini. Bocconcini. Bocconcini? What is bocconcini? Well, okay. It's soft. Probably a soft cheese. Get toothpicks, cherry tomatoes, slices of cheese, and some drizzle of vinegar, a balsamic vinegar, or a vinegar glaze. You can make small skewers with the tomato, cherries, and cheese, and drizzle some balsamic on top. If you have basil leaves, add one to each skewer for extra flavor. I think you should top it with some salt and pepper as well.
Oh, it's a type of mozzarella.
Yeah.
It's the round
like
balls.
The buffalo?
No, it's a different type.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Okay. Mixed nuts. There's nothing easier than snacking on some mixed nuts. Add some dried fruit. Dried fruit is really good. It's like the sweet salty mix.
Smaller bocconcini's smaller mouths of mozzarella.
The little mini mutzi balls.
Yes, mutzi. But we call them mutzi balls in this house.
Yeah. Bakanaka, nukanaka. The fuck are they talking about? Mutzi balls. Anyway, almost any store has a variety of mixes of nuts and trail mixes, all those things, but they're a healthy alternative. Veggies and hummus are always great. You can dip carrot sticks, whatever, cream cheese, carrot sticks. Sweet bell peppers are so good. Broccoli,
cucumber.
You could use hummus. You could try baba ganoush, guacamole, a yogurt-based dip, a beetroot dip, cream cheese, salsa. So basically, chips and dips. Nice. No, not chips. Veggies and dips.
There's healthy,
dips. But there's healthy.
You can make your own
too.
pita chips if you want.
Yeah.
And use that too. Yeah. Just get some pita.
Well, there's even veggie chips.
Yeah.
You can do a veggie chip in.
Or take your kale chips and
they wouldn't hold up. They're not chippy enough.
Oh,
you can't dip.
I got you.
They'd be like chippy. They would just fall apart. In there.
They just break up in little pieces.
Then you'd have to eat it with a spoon, and that would get really gross.
The apples and peanut butter is a good one, though.
Apples and peanut butter.
Yeah, that's a great one. Healthy snacks. Well, that's moderation. Mrs. Weedman and I are all about moderation.
We have, because I stopped eating candy, our cabinets are filled with all sorts. I have found so many alternatives to eating crappy food. Like I've got organic fruit snacks. So they still have
the organic fruit snacks.
Oh my God, those are good.
Are a fucking game changer.
Those are good.
Game changer. Just save me a couple boxes. Don't eat them all.
Fruit leathers are great. What else do we have?
You can make your own too.
Yeah.
We got those little from Costco.
Oh my God.
The little
they're fruit leathers, but they're like a little the size
strawberry,
of a pea, like a pea.
With very light coating of yogurt and probiotics in the yogurt.
Yeah.
Unreal.
They're
I can eat 4 bags of those things. They're so good.
Oh, what are those called?
I don't even remember.
Yummies or something like that. They're really good.
They're great. But you can find healthy alternatives instead of candy. Like I haven't missed candy. I haven't.
No.
And literally, I wasn't a candy fiend. But I like a good Twizzler. I like a good peanut M&Ms. I still eat those, but I'm
those
talking about
okay.
candy. What is the Starburst jelly beans? I had my certain favorites of things that I liked, and I haven't missed it.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, if I have a craving for some candy, I just grab a fruit leather or a fruit snack or, something a little bit healthier or some dried fruit. I love dried fruit too. So I'll get some apricots or, I eat prunes, so don't make fun. I do eat some prunes and, dried blueberries and stuff like that. So it's, I don't mind it, just moderation. You don't have to go and eat like a bag of Funyuns every time you get stoned, So healthy choices. We want to see you all live long and prosper.
How does that go?
I can't spread.
Nanu,
Yeah, you did it.
Nanu.
No, that's Mork from Ork, but you're doing from Star Trek. Mr.
This is
Spock.
Mork. Nanu.
Yes, that's Nanu.
You can't do it because you got a jacked up finger.
I do have a jacked up pinky. Ask me the story.
What is live long and prosper?
That one you just did. No. That's I love you. No, what you just did.
That's Mork.
No, that's live long and prosper. Mork they would shake their hand like that. So yes, like this. Yes, but live long and prosper is the way
Something
you did it.
like
the
that.
V. No, the way you did it.
Oh.
The way you did it. Yeah, that's live long and prosper. Dr. Spock. Dr. Spock. Yes, Mr. Spock. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. Even with the broken finger, I still can't get my pinky. I've just been trying it forever. I suck. University of Georgia legend Champ Bailey advocates for cannabis over old school methods for recovery purposes. Champ Bailey, a Hall of Fame NFL cornerback and University of Georgia alum, advocates for cannabis use over traditional recovery methods. While he didn't use cannabis during his college years, he began using it after his first year in the NFL to manage pain and recovery. Bailey emphasizes the importance of personal choice and consulting healthcare professionals when considering cannabis for medicinal use. So, good show, Mrs Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
Yeah, great show.
That was good.
Yeah, you got anything else to say before we go?
Everybody have a fantastic week. Still praying for all the people all over the United States with disasters and all over the world with wars and all these things going on, and hoping that 2025 can bring some peace to a lot of people that need it. Yeah, everybody just stay well, be kind. Like Mr. Weedman always says, a little kindness goes a long way. It's pretty simple to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today is January 28th, 2025. And we released a show on Thursdays, and it'll be the 30th. February 1st is our little 3-year-old Yuki's birthday.
Yay!
She will be 3. I want to wish Miss Yuki a happy birthday. You've heard about her. You've seen her.
She's a beast.
She's 79 pounds now. Almost 79 pounds
The girl
now.
discovered beef.
She
loves
and she
beef.
got beefy.
And she is beefy.
Yes. She's a dog you wouldn't want to fuck with, but she's the nicest dog ever. So happy birthday, Yuki. Thanks for being a part of the show and letting us have fun with you on the show. And every day you bring joy and happiness to all of our lives, and you're part of the family, and she's the baby. We love you, Yuki. Happy birthday. Everybody out in the world, we love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for just being a part of this show and helping us move forward and keeping us going each and every day. We love you all out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.